What's going on there, guys? Good evening. It's the Earth Master here on this Wednesday night, July 13th, 2022 date, about 8:26 p.m. California time. We got some earthquake activity in Alaska. The latest quake on the globe, a 2.1, somewhat deep up there as well, at about 90 kilometers. Seen a broad area of earthquake activity today, pretty much from about South America over all the way to the Kermadec Islands area. All this movement following the large-scale activity here, including the 6.8 that we've seen in the Easter Island region. Let's go ahead and check out the latest activity here on the USGS map, showing the states there, and also some activity ramping up, as noted, on the South America region along the Peru-Chile Trench. One earthquake within the last, this was a little bit earlier this afternoon off the coast of the Santiago area, Chile, 5.0 at 10 kilometers. Seen some deeper movement as well inland, 200 kilometer deep, 4.1 underneath Argentina, down dip there into the Peru-Chile Trench. And we are seeing a return of movement over here around the Samoa area. We've seen a 5.0 in the Tonga region, also a 5.2 in the Kermadec Islands here. This one a little while ago as well, at about 10 kilometers. Again, all this movement taking shape following yesterday's events here all along the East Pacific Rise. It's not shown up here on this map now because it's over the 24-hour threshold. Still on the Earthquake 3D globe, but should be dropping off there pretty soon. A little bit of activity up here along the getting into the Gulf of Alaska region. Also some activity here around the Puerto Rico region. This here is kind of swarming pretty good, it looks like. This is the 2.5 and above. Let me bring up the all magnitudes, and a little more activity around the Puerto Rico Trench today than what we had seen over the past couple days. Looking at the west coast, where it's busy, but it's not super active. I mean, I think we're overdue for at least a 4 or 5 somewhere along this plate boundary. It almost seems like the West Coast is immune to earthquakes, and I know that's not the case. There's obviously the major plate boundary out here, and quite a bit of other fault systems that are under quite a bit of strain. But man, it's just, I know we get microquakes, but it seems like we're well overdue for at least a 4 or 5 along the West Coast somewhere. It's been quite a while, it seems like. Some movement along the Rancho Cucamonga area, right off the San Andreas Fault, getting towards the southern end of it, looks like. Also some movement down here west of the Salton Sea, getting a little swarming activity near the Salton Sea or Salton City area. Not the best vacation spot, that's for sure. I was down there last year or the year before, yeah, not a good sight. Pretty barren down there and desolate. Let's see. So swarm of activity once again around the Borrego Springs. This is continuing today. Overall seismic activity in Southern California definitely ramping up. The 2.0 or 2.5 and above does show a little activity. We did have one earthquake up here in the Gilroy area this morning as well, a 3.1. That one striking. It looks like it's on the Calaveras fault zone here. This area can get some rather large quakes. It's been a while since we've seen any some large-scale movement on there. But definitely increasing activity here along the west coast. See a lot of red circles there in Southern Cal. And a little swarm, well, no, I wouldn't say swarm, a couple earthquakes here near the Pacifica area. These earthquakes from this morning. And of course up here in the Clear Lake volcanic fields, the hydrothermal operations ongoing out there with a couple earthquakes being produced. Nevada and into the Utah area, still seeing some movement. One earthquake way out here in the Gorda Plate, right off the Gorda Ridge is just south here, 2.7, pretty shallow at about 10 kilometers up into the Pacific Northwest, north of Mount St. Helens here near the Morton, Washington area. Some deep activity kicking up here, some small microquakes, but somewhat deep there in that area. A couple 2s for the Washington region. Not a whole lot going on. Once we head east, some scattered activity around the Wyoming area and Oklahoma as well, but no major movement to take note of here along the eastern part of the states up into Alaska. A couple of those earthquakes, one of those that we've seen on the Earthquake 3D globe, a 90-kilometer deep, 2.1. Some deeper activity kicking up here into the Anchorage area recently. Still pretty quiet along the Japan Trench and the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench. Still waiting on some further large-scale activity. Who knows when it's going to come, but definitely I'd say it's overdue here for this area of the Pacific Plate. Kind of similar to California. Question is, which one's going to go first? Mariana Trench, seeing a couple 4s out here today, including a really deep, super deep 4.6 at 527 kilometers. Now that's some deep activity. Over here in the Indonesia area as well, seen a 4.9, couple deep earthquakes for this region. Java Trench looks pretty quiet today. Got one earthquake out here in the bay, 4.9 at 10 kilometers. And if you look over here to the west, further west, some activity throughout portions of the looks like the Iran area, and also off the coast of Yemen. Some movement out through the Mediterranean Sea as well. The Atlantic Ocean has remained quiet. Not a whole lot going on there throughout that area in the past couple days. Let's see what we got here for Yellowstone. I don't think we got anything popping off. It looks pretty clear. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what this activity is. This kind of reminds me of some wind events, folks. I know a lot of people don't think wind shows up on the seismographs here, but it kind of reminds me of that. There's some activity over here in the eastern portion of the park as well. Let's see here. East entrance. Again, this could be wind events. I don't know what we got going on up there in the Wyoming area. We can check it real quick and see what's going on. Let's see what we got here for weather activity. I don't know if they got storms up there or not. Looks like a pretty good gust of some wind coming out of the southeast there. Let's see what we got for gust in that area. Quite a bit right now. It may have been heavier earlier. Got some gusts up there around 30 miles per hour around the entire portion of Yellowstone National Park, and some higher gusts here. Wait a minute, I'm looking at the wrong state here. That's South Dakota. When did we move Yellowstone into South Dakota? All right, let's get I started looking over here and I was like, wait a minute. All right, so here for Yellowstone, West Yellowstone, about the same. Yeah, it looks like some 25 mile per hour gusts here in this portion, and also over here along the eastern section where we're seeing those little noticeable increases there. I don't believe that's earthquake activity. It is showing up pretty consistent across the majority of the park there in Yellowstone National Park. As far as specific earthquake activity goes, there's not a whole lot going on. We did have one earlier this morning in the Maple Creek area, just a little tiny one. That one was noted, I believe, on the USGS scale. Bring up the all magnitudes, and it wasn't a big earthquake, just a little 1.3 at pretty shallow, 3.3 kilometers below the surface there for the Yellowstone area. South Dakota, man, whew, wind blows up there quite a bit. All right, let's see what else we got here. Tremor map tonight along the Cascadia. Pull this up. 26 epicenters of tremor, not a big deal whatsoever. A little split between them up around the Olympia area, and also down here around Medford. Seeing a little bit of tremor activity along the Cascadia subduction zone over the course of the day today. Space weather activity. We'll run this by real quick, see if we got anything to chat about. Of course, that G1 storm never came. It was forecasted, but it looks like it completely missed us. Far as activity goes, still looking at probability of some moderate M flares. Right now, we're still crackling with the solar X-ray chart here in the C range. Starting to climb up a little bit here in the last few hours, almost reaching up here into the M category there. So we'll see what these sunspots wants to do, right? They were spectacular looking for a little bit, but they're just kind of sailing across the disk. About ready. They actually are turning away from the Earth here. These two. Possibility though could be Earth directed. But it's looking likely that these are going to be no threat to us as far as any CME goes. If it was produced, 3057 is maybe our only hope of providing a sufficient flare. We'll have to see. There's a little new development, looks like, on the eastern side, way out there on the eastern limb. We'll see what that becomes in the coming days. No major coronal holes facing us. Some beautiful features, though, on the sun. Man, let me tell you, it's absolutely beautiful. A little bitty coronal hole here, but I don't think that's going to do anything as far as amping up any type of storming conditions here at all. So let's see here. That's about it. Things look pretty stable. Although, check out the is this recent here? Look at the speed. Speed's pretty elevated right now, up around the 500 range. Density off and on, but pretty stable in the interplanetary magnetic field there, the BT-BZ component. And yeah, so it doesn't look like we'll see anything popping off now far as auroras go. Alrighty, guys, let's see. I know we got what do we got going on tonight? What are they called? King tides? I think that's what they're called due to the full moon tonight. I guess it's going to be the closest that the moon is to us here on Earth all year. I don't know if it's a super moon or what, but there's some big tides being produced here along the Northern California coast. I think they call them king tides, and some potential flooding issues going on here along the Northern California coastline. Let's see if we can bring up the so much stuff in here. Not going to go through it all, but yeah, there's supposed to be some cool, at least large tides coming in with that full moon tonight, and it's a close one, let me tell you. All right, guys, I'm going to bounce out of here. Have a good night. Please stay safe out there, and again, I really think that I mean, it's been a while since we've seen any thing above what, 4.0 or so in California. Can't remember the exact day it was here along the West Coast. So it's definitely coming. For a major plate boundary, California sometimes is pretty quiet. Alrighty, guys, have a good night. Please stay safe out there, and we will chat you guys again very soon. Take care, everyone. Have a good night.